You are now joining Children of the Watch.
That's right. It's the #1 after-show podcast for all things Star Wars television. I'm your host, Alex Maxwell, and joining me, as always, is...
Mac Lacey. Alex, we are here for our part 3 of Obi-Wan Kenobi Hello There Hotline episode. We get to hear from the people. We love doing these. This is some of the most fun we get to have. Just hearing from you guys, getting your thoughts, your theories, your questions, all of that.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun. So if you are new to our show and you just now found us, we are an after show for all things Star Wars television, like I said in the opening, where you guys can join us for our scene-by-scene breakdowns, but then you guys can also call into our Hello There Hotline. That's what we're calling it for Obi-Wan Kenobi, to give us your thoughts and your theories about what's happening. And I just got to say, I think, Mac, this is the most that people have ever called in to the Hello There Hotline this week. I mean, there were so many voicemails this week. It was a big episode. There was a lot to cover, a lot to talk about, so I'm glad that, people were feeling as inspired to talk about it as we were. Absolutely. So, if your voicemail didn't make it on there, that doesn't mean it was a bad voicemail or anything like that. It just kind of, we pick them at random, and then we kind of go from there and try to make sure that we hear some new voices every now and again. So keep calling in. Remember to keep it under 3 minutes. Tell us your name and where you're from. And that number is 205-259-6675. 205-259-6675. I've memorized it once again. In Mandalorian season, I had it memorized. Yeah. I lost it. It's back now. So.
It goes in and out of my memory as well. I currently do not have it memorized, but it's right there. It's like riding a bike.
It is. Well,
we've been over that for you.
Turns out riding a bike is difficult for me. So
catch up on. I have no clue when that discussion was, but
I don't. Yeah,
a previous episode.
The last 2 weeks episodes have really bled together because there's been so much content. There's been so much content. But it's been awesome. I mean, this has just been truly one of the best 2 weeks of my Star Wars life, just because this has been so much fun. The episodes, they settle with me so well, and I appreciate them more and more as I grow distant from when I watched it from the premiere and then the breakdown. I just really, really love what they're doing with this series. And there was an announcement. I don't know if you caught this or not, Mac, but there's some rumors that they're going to go ahead with a season 2 of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I know. I feel like that might be a discussion for another time, just because that's going to be an in-depth conversation of whether they should, if the show's My initial thought is I'm a little worried about that, because it definitely seemed like this was meant to be a standalone story. You know?
Whereas something like the Book of Boba Fett, that makes sense. They kind of designed it that way.
Yeah.
If it worked, they would do another season. If it didn't, no big deal.
Yeah.
This one, they were very specific of this is going to be a limited series. This is going to be a one-time thing. We're not doing multiple seasons.
Yeah.
To change that makes me a little nervous.
It's a little bit, and it's not because I don't want more of this show. I'm really enjoying it. I'll watch whatever they put out of it, But it seems like we're telling the story that needed to be told in this season, and then what does that leave for another season? But
if they
we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
If they wanted to transition it into a Quinlan Vos show, I am 100% on board for that. Because I think that would be really, really, really cool. And there's been a lot of speculation this week that we might get Quinlan Vos in Obi-Wan Kenobi. Before we jump into the voicemails and the business and all that, where do you stand on that? Do you think we're getting Quinlan Vos in this series?
I mean, so we touched on this a little bit in the breakdown when they brought up his name in the show, and it was a pretty pointed thing. We took a second to make sure that we... And we know that he's helping out with the path and everything like that. So there's context for sure for him to show up. There seems to me like there's a lot we have to do in this show still.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's time, you
I
know,
agree.
but
Yeah.
Star Wars has surprised me in that regard before. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think we'll see it, but I think we might see him in live action soon.
Yes.
Because he was brought up in this show.
Well, but especially because of the response, though, from the fandom of like just bringing his name up, it's like it has created a firestorm of, oh my gosh, Quinlan Vos. And like I get that because I think he's super cool. But I would temper expectations about him showing up in the show. I don't feel they're going in that direction. I think that was like a cool extended Easter egg.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, we've been wrong before, and that would be an awesome surprise to have him show up in live action. And technically, he has showed up in live action before in the Phantom Menace, like the background.
He's in the background, but
they designed his character based off a background character in the Phantom Menace. So to me, that doesn't really count.
Yeah. He wasn't doing Quinlan Vos things, really.
No. Yeah. No. Okay, so if you're not following us on social media, make sure you're following us over on Twitter and Instagram at COT Watch. We would love to continue this discussion with you guys over there. And then we also have a Patreon, patreon.com/The Mandalorian Watch. That was our former name before we transitioned into covering all the live action Star Wars television shows. And so you can get cool bonus episodes. In fact, we will be doing a bonus episode right after this one and just continue more voicemails. It's our bonus Hello There Hotline episode. We do those in seasons of the shows. We also have bonus commentary tracks like our prequels and The Mandalorian seasons 1 through 2. And some other surprises as well, and our Discord. So it's a lot of fun over on the Patreon. For just $2 a month, you can get access to that. And you get a shout out if you are a Mandalore level patron on these YouTube videos. So make sure you stick around for our Mandalore level patrons at the end of this video for your shout out. And then, of course, if you can't help us out on the Patreon, we totally understand. These are tough times. You can help us out by going to Apple Podcast and Spotify and giving us a 5-star review, or wherever you listen to the show, and giving us an awesome review over there. That goes such a long way, and it kind of helps the algorithm. And so we have to bow to the algorithm and do what it wants. So that would be super helpful.
Yeah, we need fodder to throw at the algorithm dragon.
And I want to say, like, you guys have been so awesome. You have put us. We got as high as the top 20s in the TV and film category. I think we're kind of sitting in the 30s right now as of the recording. So, like, by you guys listening, giving us the reviews, sharing it with your friends, that has helped us out so much. And so we just want to say thank you so much to you guys who are listening. Yeah. It means the world to us that you're on this journey with us.
Yeah, for sure. You guys are the best. Just like, we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing right now if without y'all's support. So again, for sure. Thanks. Cool.
Also, keepthewatch.com. Hello There shirt. You can use the code Hello There, all capital letters, for free shipping on the Hello There shirt. Very cool.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a dope one.
It is dope.
Voicemail time?
Let's do it.
Hey, children of the watch. This is Will S. from Ohio, and I have 2 pieces of irresponsible speculation. One is, I noticed that Leia hugged Tala in the tunnel before Tala took off, and it reminded me that Leia also hugged her mom and got Lola her toy back in a kind of crafty way. And I'm wondering if Leia lifted something from Tala. Remember, she asked, would you show me how to shoot a gun? So I'm wondering if Leia will actually be armed and be able to fend off a Reva in some way, which I'd be excited about. And then the second thing is, here's some irresponsible speculation about the Grand Inquisitor, that there, like you said, there is a brother, or there's a clone, but it'll turn out to be Jason Isaacs, and that will be the big reveal, so making that connection back to the shows. So anyway, those are my 2 pieces, but longtime fan, Saw Star Wars New Hope in the theaters when I was 8. Been tracking it ever since, and you guys have really reignited my passion and interest and time I'm spending following this. So thanks for all that. Keep watch. Take care.
Wow. Yeah, Will, thank you so much for your call.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I love when we hear about, long-term fans and stuff that we like, what we do kind of can help reignite interest and stuff like that. That's always cool. So thank you for sharing that. Also, the theory about Leia being armed in the next episode.
How about that? That is some irresponsible speculation because, but it's also really good speculation because
for sure.
It's possible. That is something Leia would do.
Yeah, especially as a child, Yeah. Like, just her nature as an adult is so kind of crafty and everything, but like as a child without the inhibitions of like knowing how to behave and stuff. Just imagine.
Yeah, that would be. I don't know how far that would go. I mean, I feel like she would need to hide it for a while before it because as soon as she pulled that thing out, I don't think Reva's gonna be really caught off guard by Leia.
Right. She'll probably know how to handle 10-year-old blaster, but it could definitely lead to events occurring which allow for her escape or something like that. So I would love to see Leia get out of some stuff of her own ability and like kind of her own volition. Without like Obi-Wan having to save her all the time, just to kind of show that she's, even as a child, she's capable. And so I don't know, that'd be a fun way that could happen.
That would be cool. And just like on I guess like a parallel thought there, it is really cool that like the look that Leia gave Tala, it's like she was clearly like, I want to be like you when I grow up, even though she's a princess of Alderaan. It's like there was something about Tala that inspired her, made her want to do the type of thing that Tala was doing. So that's really cool that we're starting to get the origin of a lot of the things that we see Leia doing in the original trilogy and beyond is being birthed right here in this moment. And it's not something I was prepared for this show.
Yeah.
So that's really, really cool.
Yeah, for sure.
So the second part of the irresponsible speculation from Will is maybe the Inquisitor really did die and there's another one, like we kind of talked about on the breakdown a little bit. Maybe he has a twin brother or something like that, and it's Jason Isaacs who's playing that version of the Grand Inquisitor. I think that's definitely possible.
Yeah. Star Wars takes a lot of tropes from soap operas and stuff, like the whole like surprise family relation and stuff like that, and like an evil twin or like you died, but then your twin comes on the show. That's a very like soapy thing, so it's kind of playing to the influences there.
For sure.
So I mean, it would have to be navigated in a way,
I still think the Grand Inquisitor is gonna be revived.
I think that's the most likely thing. But I mean, it'd be something to. It would make me question why even have a different Grand Inquisitor. Like, why do it? Like just for the surprise of Jason Isaacs showing up, which would be awesome. I mean, he's such a good actor, and I think he could really nail the Grand Inquisitor like in live action performance.
Yeah, I still really want him for Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Yeah. It makes sense to me that they would maybe be saving him for that if he's already in the family. And he's got the facial structure for it.
He really does. And just, I mean, his role in The Patriot is like just paint him blue.
Yeah.
I mean, there you go. Oh, man. So great call, Will. I do want to say that I want to say it came out yesterday. The writer for Obi-Wan Kenobi, Joby Harold, did mention like we would never break Star Wars canon, and he's talking about the Grand Inquisitor. But that doesn't mean like that theory could still hold up because like canon's not broken. Like it's still like a Powin Grand Inquisitor with the same like look, but it could be a different one if that theory pans out.
Yeah. I think we're not going to have to deal with just the the cognitive dissonance of having to
Yeah.
deal with like 2 Inquisitor deaths,
Right.
that was worst case scenario that I was fearing, but I don't think that's going to be the case just from that comment.
Yes, I agree with that. So we'll see. Make sure you watch Star Wars Rebels as well. If you're listening to this and you haven't watched Star Wars Rebels, please watch Star Wars Rebels because
It's
it
so
seems,
good.
number one, you get more Inquisitor stuff. It's so good. Number two, it seems like the Ahsoka show is just the 5th season of Star Wars Rebels, but live action. So
It definitely seems like that. I'm for sure going to have to do a rewatch through of Rebels before Ahsoka time.
that would be fun. That'll be fun. Let's do the next voicemail. Thanks, Will.
Hey guys, this is Kim from St. Louis. I'm wondering about Reba, and so I have a little speculation about her. So yes, she's obviously really gunning to like get my Darth Vader side, right? And we're also speculating that something happened to her. She was probably, one of the younglings in the temple when it was attacked through Order 66. She's obviously got a bone to pick with the Jedi. I'm wondering, though, is she really gunning to be by Vader's side, ultimately to kill him because he's also part of this? He's part of everything that sort of destroyed her childhood, whether or not she was meant to be somebody's Padawan or not. I'm just wondering, like, she seems really intent on being by his side, and I'm not so sure it's just because of, like, being power hungry. I really think she's intending to kill him. What do you guys think? Bye.
Kim.
Yeah.
Yes. I love that speculation. That is great.
Absolutely. Kim, I think I'm going to kind of move that to my prominent theory in my mind,
Yeah,
actually.
100%.
That makes the most sense, I think. Like,
Yes.
if we already know she's like kind of consumed with the dark side, she's got a lot of hatred, anger, that kind of stuff going on. So yeah, like I love a long con like
Yes,
that,
yes.
like a playing the long game, the slow burn plot.
That's awesome. I love that idea.
That's very compelling. So we could get maybe a confrontation between the two by the end of the series.
All 3 of them fighting at once. I could see that happening and maybe that allows Obi-Wan to get away from the final confrontation.
Yeah. Do you, like not meeting and be like, okay, we're going to be on the same side and we're working together.
No,
but I think they may have to work together because it's been set up that Obi-Wan cannot take Vader at this moment. Like he he got it handed to him last episode. So yeah, that could be
Vader
a way
wasn't
that,
even really trying that hard.
No, he was purposefully toying with him.
Yeah.
He's so scary.
He is so scary, and I love it so much. Kim, I love this theory. I think this is, like you said, it's now in the forefront of my mind of like, I'm going to watch it now with that aspect in my mind and see like, okay, maybe she is just trying to work to get to a prominent position to take out Darth Vader. And it's not like for the Jedi or for
it's
the light side. It's for vengeance, which is a very dark side Sith thing. And like, that is like what the Sith did in the old Republic time. Like that is exactly why, like we talked about on the part 3 breakdown, the rule of 2 was instituted is because of things like this. It's why Vader in the Vader comics by Charles Soule did not like the idea of the Inquisitors because it's direct competition to him.
Yeah.
It puts him in danger. He doesn't like them, really, but he's got to use them because Palpatine instituted this, and they've got to find Jedi somehow. And it makes sense to have them, but he doesn't like them.
He can't be everywhere at one time. Yeah.
I like that theory a lot, Kim. So shout out to you. If this ends up being true, you win. I don't know.
Kim. I think that means that Kim gets to take my place on the podcast.
Okay. Jeez. Or mine, because if my baby comes early, it just might be Mac and Kim.
What if there was? What if we ran this show just with like a gladiatorial system, where The person that can bring the best theory that ends up being the most correct is the one who gets to
Takes one of our spots. That'd be kind of cool, actually. It's like we start calling into the hotline. Yeah. Okay. I mean, that is a unique way to podcast, I guess.
We'll see. It could get to that point.
Especially with the 12 episodes of Andor. I know. We'll see.
I'm like, if we get to the point where we're doing like 3 shows in a year, maybe there.
So Kim, keep your schedules cleared on Wednesdays. Great call. Love that. I can't wait. That really gets my mind thinking in a different direction for episode 4 of Obi-Wan Kenobi. And I kind of hope we get a little bit more Reva in episode 4. And that would make sense with Kenobi being injured.
Yes.
We might focus a little more on other characters this upcoming episode. So we'll see. That would be kind of a cool revelation there. So
yeah,
it's coming up.
For sure. We'll see. Thanks so much, Kim.
All right, let's do the next one.
Hey guys, how's it going? This is Matt coming at you from Okinawa, Japan. First, love what you guys do on the podcast. I particularly like how you make it accessible from, any casual fan to someone who's, read all the EU novels. So a couple things from part 3 here. One, I think somebody at the Lucasfilm must listen to the podcast because they took your note on what to do with their Southern California desert, and on the side of the highway there, they literally just made some of the plants purple to make it seem more alien, which was, I think, one of your notes from Tython. And then the bigger thing that I have is I think what we've learned from this episode is that Leia has figured out that she is force sensitive. And there's a couple things that I think point to this. One, when at the beginning of the episode, when she's asking Obi-Wan what the force feels like, it seemed like she really, didn't just understand his answer, but like really felt that she knew it. And I think that was just, the phenomenal acting from Vivian Lyra Blair that, played that off. That it was just really deep understanding of his answer, not just knowing his words, but like really understanding the meaning. And then later on, when they're in the safe house, she has like a really, fearful interest in what is happening to the force sensitive children that the Empire is taking. And it seems like that was kind of a fear for her personal safety there. And then just right after that, she asked Tala if, it's scary to pretend. And like Leia, I think she's realizing at that point that she's going to have to pretend to not be force sensitive, to protect herself, and that scares her. But she realizes, like Tala said, it's worth it to pretend, if you can help people. So I just think that it was one of the more interesting aspects that came out of this episode for me was Leia seems to be recognizing that she is in fact force sensitive. So that's what I have. So once again, appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
Interesting, Matt. That is very, very interesting. First off, I agree with you 100%. Lucasfilm, maybe they do listen to the podcast because some of the plants were purple on the side of the road there. That was one of our notes for Tython.
It's true. I think it would be hubris of us to think we have any kind of influence on that kind of stuff. But, maybe. Who knows? Yeah. So
interesting read there on Leia, maybe knowing she's force sensitive, but is going to keep that secret. My read on it was kind of like, I was thinking more of the rebellion type stuff of like hiding that I'm actually like a rebel leader. Like that was in her mind more than the force sensitive stuff. But I think you could read it either way.
Yeah, no, I think so. This is all kind of going back to like us at one point we were wondering if like Luke and Leia were kind of like showing their Force sensitivity in any way, like if those abilities were like manifesting and stuff. I think it's safe to say that Leia's are in the form of like intuition and things like that. We've seen her just like be able to read some, and I mean, that could just be her personality and who she is too, but I think maybe there's some Force stuff going on there. So it could be that she has, you know, taken note of that, or, you know, her abilities in that regard. I think Bail and Brea would be more likely to be talking about the Force and stuff, like just around the house, than like Owen and Beru would.
Oh, for sure.
So like Leia might have. We get the impression Luke doesn't know anything, has not really heard about the Force.
Doesn't even really know what a Jedi is.
Right. So I think he's kind of sheltered, probably on purpose. And then I think Bail and Brea would be more likely to be talking about those kind of matters around Leia. So she might have more awareness and like be able to identify, I can kind of do some stuff that other kids maybe can't, you know?
Yeah, and I could still see her keeping that to herself.
Yes.
Like, you know, that's something like, yeah, I think I can do this, but I'm not going to really let people in on the fact that I can do this. Very smart from her perspective, because like, obviously she's learned, as well as the audience has learned, like they're taking Force sensitive children and we don't know what they do with them.
Yeah.
So she doesn't want any part of that, for sure. And so like, I could definitely see if she knows that she can access the Force, she doesn't want to let anyone know that. Yeah. I think she's very curious about the Force. She might have like, that kind of feels like what I can do, but I don't know if it will go any further than that. And honestly, I'm not sure that it should at this point in the timeline for her. Now, I do think it would be super interesting at some point, like, I don't know how we would get this story, but like that whole training sequence between Luke and Leia and Rise of Skywalker, that flashback, I do want to see more of Leia exploring the Force and understanding it and using it. I just realized something. Remember in part 2 where Leia says, I want to float. I want to float. Yeah. In The Last Jedi, she uses it to float back to
she does.
the ship.
Incredible. Amazing.
Good job, Leia.
You did it. We love to see a dream come true.
Horrible circumstances to finally live out your dream, but congrats. Yeah. I definitely want to see more of that aspect, but I'm not sure if it's something like she should be openly doing at this point. In her timeline, it should be a secret for her of like, I can do this, but I'm not going to let anyone know that I can. So that's really interesting. I just kind of read that scene of she was asking those type of questions because she knows she's going to have to be an Imperial senator one day. Yeah. So what's it like to pretend when that's not who you really are? Right. It's like that double life, almost like a superhero double identity type thing that Leia's got going on. Which is the true
identity, and that,
Yeah. So that's kind of how I read this scene, but that's really interesting, Matt, how you read it, and I don't think you're wrong.
No.
I just think that it's kind of up to your interpretation of that scene for sure.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks so much, Matt.
Yeah, thanks, Matt.
Let's do the next one.
All right.
Hey, what's happening, fellas? This is Bobby from Phoenix. Calling in again. Pretty excited. I just finished watching episode 3 of Obi-Wan Kenobi and really excited. So if you guys haven't even listened to your recap podcast as of yet, so if you mention anything that I've already said, my apologies. But first and foremost, I wanted to say this. I wanted to bring up the issue with Moses Ingram, who plays Reva. Just wanted to say, as an African American, I love her. I root for her to be successful. I think she is killing it as Reva. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I know there's a lot of other stuff going on with that, but in any case, what I really wanted to share with you is my thoughts on the first interaction of Vader and Obi-Wan. I felt like Vader was basically like a cat playing with its food, playing with the mouse. Like he was toying with them. You know, he was using the lightsaber with one hand. You know, he could have clearly, you know, taken him out anytime that he wanted. I was just wondering, I know he wanted to make him suffer, but what do you guys think about the way he just let him go? Like, I felt like the escape was a little too easy. And it's almost like something else was going on. Like he wanted to toy with him and then let him go, knowing that he would capture him at a later time or something else going on. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. I thought Vader could have really handled him, but he didn't. He chose not to. So anyway, I love the show. Keep doing what you guys do, and I'll keep listening. I'm here for all of this. So really excited. Keep the watch.
Thanks,
Nice.
Bobby.
Yeah.
Love the voicemail. I wanted to talk about this for sure because, like, I think it's one of the biggest talking points besides Quinlan Vos coming out of this episode was how could Ned B just pick up Obi-Wan and they're watching, and why would fire stop Darth Vader? I've seen some people say Darth Vader's scared of fire. That's not the case. He lives on a lava planet right now.
Right. And I mean, he was very fine interacting with the fire to
exactly.
torture Kenobi. So
yeah, that's not it at all.
I mean, he set the fire initially.
Exactly. And it's not something, it's like if he wanted to put it out, he could have. We saw him do that just minutes earlier, just put it out with the Force. It's almost, this is my read on it, especially like with, we're kind of days removed from the episode now. Part of me wonders if not only, I agree with you, Bobby, and we talked about this in our breakdown, he was like a cat with a mouse. He was playing
100%.
with his food. 100% doing that. But one of my things I'm wondering about is like when he saw the flames, after he did that to Kenobi, if there was at least a little bit of Anakin creeping up in him of like realizing everything that he's lost. And he just kind of froze in the moment of like, yeah, I could stop them and end this right now, but I'm going to let this play out for a second. Yeah. So it's like one of those, like, I don't know if he was conflicted. I wouldn't say conflicted is the thing, but it's like something in him made him let them go.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
So I mean, at this point, he has been just living with everything that's happened to him and everything he's done for 10 years.
Yeah.
Like he's been suffering every day of those 10 years, you know? And so I feel like it's just not enough to just instantly kill Kenobi or anything like that for him. Like I think he's trying to prolong Obi-Wan's torment. Just it's nothing's ever going to be enough. Like it's not a just thing to want, right? So it'll never be enough. You're never going to be satisfied in it.
Right.
And then I think he's also maybe thinking that Kenobi's going to lead him somewhere else that he wants to discover and know about. I think he knows Kenobi will lead to more Jedi.
The path.
And the path. Yeah. I mean, it's Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's got to be thinking like, okay, Obi-Wan is going to be involved in whatever the biggest thing is the Jedi are still doing right now. You know,
maybe he'll lead us to Yoda. Now that's an interesting question. That do they know that Yoda's alive? Because like when Yoda fought Palpatine in Revenge of the Sith, what was left was just hanging was his robe,
right?
And then he crawled away. So did the Empire, were they led to believe that Yoda died in that battle, or do they think that he's still alive and just is out there somewhere? Because that's got to be target number one, right? Obi-Wan would be target number two if they think Yoda's alive.
Right. Yeah. I would agree with that. Yeah, it's the amount that Palpatine and Vader can feel other
Yeah.
like force sensitive beings' presence and stuff. The rules are very like they're cloudy. There's not a clear way that those mechanics work.
More like a set of guidelines.
It really is more like a set of guidelines. So
there's no hard and fast rules of how the Force works in terms of sensing other people or really any of the powers.
Right. It's all kind of just
Force
nebulous.
speed, I'm looking at you. But maybe Reva used that to get to the end of the tunnel somehow.
That could happen. Yeah.
Maybe that's what happened there. I don't know, but I definitely think Vader let Obi-Wan go. If he wanted to get Obi-Wan in that moment, he would have gotten him. We saw Vader rip people out of their homes and murder entire families in front of everyone in the town, dragging people through the streets. Then he lit a whole thing on fire and brought his master down into the fire, letting him just burn and torture. And then he put it out and said, your thing has just begun. This is just the beginning. This is just a taste of what I'm going to do to you. It's not like a little thing of fire is going to stop him from continuing that. He's going to let this play out because he realizes Obi-Wan has a friend. Someone just did that for Obi-Wan. This is much bigger than just Obi-Wan being back.
Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah. I don't know. It all just comes back to I'm so excited to see how it goes.
Me too, dude.
I'm just like I want to see what the
best things about
is.
this show. One of the best things about this show is like it's been very unpredictable.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, like there are certain tropes. There's like the hero's journey and all that is going to happen throughout this, but it has been kind of an unpredictable show.
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, my expectations for sure have been subverted. Yeah, I mean, like the Leia thing, incredible. Yeah. Vader showing up as early, like I never thought that. So yeah,
the Grand Inquisitor.
Grand Inquisitor.
Yeah.
Continues to surprise, and I can't wait to see what is waiting for us in the next part. So, and then also I think it's worth stating again, just like Moses Ingram is killing it in this show.
For sure.
Like her performance is so compelling to me. Just like it's a very raw, visceral performance. There's so much emotion and passion behind it. So yeah, she's doing incredible, and just continue, outpouring your support for her and everything.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's do another voicemail.
Hello there. This is Chelsea from Texas. New listener, just started listening to you guys, was literally in the past week since Kenobi has been out, absolutely loved it. Needed to find some other people who were talking about it, stumbled across you guys, been a great life decision. So I just finished episode 3. A couple of things stuck out to me, one kind of comment and one speculation, I guess you might say. First is, to me, this has been the best holistic piece of Star Wars that's come out. Meaning that to me, Kenobi so far has done the best job of connecting the prequels and the OT and the Disney era and even the old EU. Whether that's through big things or even little Easter eggs, it finally feels like there is a show that is drawing on the full breadth of the Star Wars universe. And to tie into that, and this is moving more into the speculation, I'm wondering if we're going to see another piece of the old EU come back, kind of in the way that they brought back Thrawn. My question is Reva an Emperor's hand? So she keeps saying what he has promised her. She knows that Anakin is Darth Vader. There's another guy who knows all of that, and it's Emperor Palpatine. In the old EU, we had Mara Jade, we had Lumaya, we had Raganda Ismarin, and a whole bunch of others who operated within the Imperial power structures as an Emperor's hand. And it seems like Reva is operating on a different agenda than a lot of the other Inquisitors. Makes me wonder if what she's been promised isn't some kind of recognition by Palpatine. Now, where I would love to see that go is if by the end of it, we see some kind of 3-way fight between Obi-Wan, Vader, and Reva. So I guess my question is, there had been a lot of speculation, is Reva Vader's secret apprentice? My question is maybe she's Palpatine's secret apprentice. He found an angry young ex-Jedi, at least another one to train. I don't know, just wanted to throw that out there. You guys are doing great. Can't wait to keep listening. Bye, y'all.
Ooh, Chelsea.
Ooh.
What a great first call.
For sure.
Thank you for being a new listener and saying that was a great life decision. I agree, too.
That's going to go right to my head. I didn't think that anything we did was anything close to important enough to be just considered a life decision. But
not only that, she dropped a Lumaya reference, which I never thought we would get on this podcast, so that's cool. She had a light whip. Lumaya
pretty dope.
did.
I love the synergy going on with the other voicemails too. Because like she mentioned the kind of the three-way like Reva, Obi-Wan, Vader confrontation that we've discussed briefly, and I love that theory. Just that we know that Reva comes from somewhere else. She's, from the gutter, as the other Inquisitors say. They obviously feel like separate from her.
Yes.
And I wonder if that's, because she kind of got recruited in a different way. She's not really kind of in the same reporting structure, maybe.
It is interesting. That question still lingers of how does she know Darth Vader is Anakin Skywalker?
Right. And Palpatine knows that.
Palpatine does know that. So it could go either way. So it could go the way that she's kind of saying maybe it is like an Emperor's hand thing and they're bringing that back into the EU or from the EU into canon. And I 100% agree with you, Chelsea, about it does really feel like Obi-Wan Kenobi is pulling on the full breadth of everything that's available to Star Wars with the old EU, bridging the prequels to the original trilogy, all of it. That's why this show feels very special to me.
Yeah.
And we should just all really enjoy this one because it is special. Something is really cool about this that's unique.
Yeah.
And I think she hit the nail on the head. But maybe it is that she's working with Palpatine, or if she knows Anakin's name because she was in the Jedi Temple when he was killing younglings and she saw it, and it could be what Kim said of like she wants vengeance because of that, or it's a hybrid of the two.
Right.
I don't know. The Reva question is one of the more interesting questions of the show, and I can't wait to get that answered.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, I agree too. Just like this show feels like comprehensive in that it really does feel like we've got every kind of sector of Star Wars storytelling represented, it's a very special thing. This show is kind of the embodiment of what I envisioned when they first kind of came out with like the canon system and was like, everything's going to be connected. It's all going to work in the same world. This show is kind of what I think is the fulfillment of that dream.
Yes. Yeah. Great call, Chelsea. Love that idea. Let's talk about Palpatine for a second.
All right.
Do you think we'll get Palpatine in the show?
I mean, Ian's around. He's still kind of in the family, He was doing he was in Rise of Skywalker and that kind of thing. So, he could pop up. I don't know. I think it would. The next episode would kind of indicate if I thought Palpatine was going to be in the back too, because if we're like. If Obi-Wan gets taken to Vader's castle at any point or anything like that, which I feel like might happen by the end of the show.
Yeah, he's got to go rescue Leia at this point. So
right. I don't know. It would be harder to get Palpatine into the show because you already have so many bad guys. I think you've got like Reva, who's kind of your ground level bad guy, and then you've got the big bad Darth Vader already, Yeah. So adding another villain on top of that, it's like Russian nesting dolls of bad guys, Yeah. But we'll see.
Well, and it's like he did hint that Ian hinted at Star Wars Celebration that you wouldn't see him, but you might hear him. Which I think that would be a good way to have him in the show, of like maybe Vader speaks to him, maybe at the end or something, like reporting to Palpatine, and we can hear Palpatine speaking, or I don't know, something along those lines. But I agree with the Russian nesting doll thing. Got to be careful.
We only need so many levels of antagonism, you know.
So I love that, though. I love the ideas on this voicemail. That's why we do these, is because you guys have such great, unique ideas that we hadn't considered before. So make sure you call into this Hello There hotline, which is 205-259-6675. And you can call that at any time. Make sure it's under 3 minutes. Tell us who you are, where you're from, to help build that community. And if you mess up, just try again, hang up, do it again. Let us know, like, hey, I'm going to do this again. And then we'll play the best one. So make sure you do that. But we're going to continue this fun and speculation. Some might call it irresponsible speculation over on our bonus voicemail Patreon episode. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
We're just going to keep it right rolling from there. Check out the Patreon if you're interested. Check out keepthewatch.com. Get a sweet t-shirt. The music we're going out on is my band Carpool Kids. We're going to be releasing some stuff here in a couple weeks. Got a couple songs coming out. So look at Spotify and all the stuff for Carpool Kids if you're interested. I play drums.
I am interested.
Thanks, Alex. Alex will listen.
Yes.
But until next time, we'll be back for a part 4 breakdown on Wednesday. But until then, keep the watch.